the day is finally here. This feels a little bit like a dream, but that's because I've been looking forward to this announcement for such a long time now, and I am just so beyond excited to share with you all my brand new book, What Makes Us Girls. In a nutshell, it is a non-fiction self-help book targeted towards girls, primarily girls who have rejected third-wave feminism but who still struggle to navigate everyday issues such as purposelessness, inauthenticity, rejection, and lack of self-worth. That said, while I did write the book primarily for girls, I will say that there is a chance that some men might enjoy the book as well, just because at the very least it gives an inside look as to how girls think. The book is available for pre-order now, both in hardcover and in paperback. Of course, there will be an ebook as well, but that won't be available until launch day. Now, as for an audiobook, because I know a lot of you are very interested in an audiobook, it's currently being worked on right now and will be done very soon, and of course that'll come out as soon as it's finished. But all the links to pre-order right now are in the description of this video. As for anyone interested in receiving a signed hardcover or signed paperback copy of my book, you can just check the description of this video and you'll find a link that takes you to my website, where from the homepage you can order either a signed hardcover or a signed paperback. Now, obviously these books are a bit more expensive than the standard ones, but that's only because I have to order all the books to myself, and I have to sign them, package them, and mail them to each one of you individually. And that said, once you pay for the book, you don't have to pay for shipping. That'll be free. That's included in the price listed on the website. So for anyone interested in that, you will find the link in the description. In a bit more detail now, what exactly is my book about? Well, initially, I started out writing this book with the intention to explore in detail the topics of female friendships, equality, femininity versus masculinity, professional careers, marriage and children, the struggles of modern dating, etc. But after writing just the first chapter, I came to realize that none of these issues can be adequately explored without first exploring one of the main issues that all girls, myself included, all girls in the world, struggle with. And this issue is self-worth. I wrote the book using the basic premise that if we don't love ourselves, or even if we're too obsessed with ourselves, which is a problem for a lot of people as well, then how can we possibly love others? Using stories from my own life experience, which was very difficult, I might add, because not all the stories are positive, there are a lot of negative ones as well. So using stories from my own life experience and the life experiences of many girls that I know, this book, What Makes Us Girls, analyzes 7 of the most common issues that result in a destructive sense of self-worth, and I explore both sides of these issues. So when we're betrayed or when we betray others. And a few other examples, as I already mentioned, are inauthenticity, purposelessness, and rejection. So when we're rejected or when we reject others, or when we are inauthentic or when others are inauthentic towards us. Obviously, there are numerous other topics that I go into in this book that I explore in detail, but I just wanted to list a few just so you'll get an idea what the book is about. And
when I was researching the Gavin McInnes video I made the other day, I wanted to follow that up with an examination of the female equivalent of McInnes's masculinity culture, which is this sort of toxic femininity, this kind of femininity that is destructive to other people, right? So for example, the version of masculinity that Gavin McInnes proposes through his Proud Boy philosophy, and as part of this kind of right-wing restoration of trad men culture, there is also so this is a masculinity that comes at the cost of other people. In order for you to assert this kind of masculinity, you have to be a homophobe, so that costs gay people. For you to be Mr. Butch Boy, you have to be a transphobe, and that costs transgender people a piece of their well-being. For you to be the proper McInnes man, the real Proud Boy, and so on and so forth. So when I thought of the analog, the Barbie doll to his Ken. Brittany Pettibone came to mind with a couple other names. Like there was the blonde buttermaker on Red Ice TV, Alana Lockteff, who is like sort of the godmother of these creepy trad wives. Brittany Pettibone at the moment is who Lauren Southern was like 2 years ago, where she was trying to kind of pretend to be alt-right. I would say that Brittany Pettibone is full-blown alt-right. She is better at hiding her power levels than some of the more extreme cases, but make no mistake that she is trying to indoctrinate. This book is a gaslighting manual for women to learn how to reshape themselves and how to kind of reject their own independence and well-being. The purpose of like this little manual that she's made, which somehow got printed by a legitimate publisher, because usually, she is right. These alt-writers are usually self-published kooks, but Brittany Pettibone has preserved enough supposed mainstream appeal that she was able to get herself published by someone else. Who knows if that'll come with a revocation later when there's a reaction to this book. This book is being presented as an innocuous self-help guide. It is no different than any of the self-help books submitted by Scientology. It is no different from any of the veiled self-help that Jordan Peterson sells. It is no different from the veiled self-help that Christian conservatives sell. It is ideology presented as self-help. It is ideology presented in a utilitarian mask. This is not about getting you to subscribe to our beliefs. This is about us helping you solve everyday problems and, most importantly, helping you cope with your insecurities. So, something that cults all have in common is that they prey on people who are vulnerable. If you watch this whole video, you'll see like the last 3 minutes of it. I've only put 4 minutes of it here roughly. And the last 3 minutes after she sort of makes the pitch is about, and if I've heard this kind of, I've been proximal to evangelical Christianity in my family for many years. And this kind of same idea of, are you lonely? Do you not have any female friends? Have you been historically isolated? Have you felt rejected by women in the past? Well, the Stepford wives are always here for you. We're always hiring. We're always welcoming. And the thing is that just like any cult, the women of the alt-right will love bomb you, especially if you are potentially a convert or on the fence. So if they think that you are an emotionally vulnerable, socially isolated, questioning feminist, they will hand this book to you and say, oh, I see that you've gone through a breakup. I see that you've lost a lot of friends. I see you lost your job. I see your marriage broke up. I see you're having trouble with your kids, etc., etc., etc. And I would like to submit this book to you to help you with your everyday problems. And they tell you that if you become their version, I mean, this goes to McInnes also with the Proud Boy philosophy, where he gets boys who have felt left out of traditional masculinity. He gets boys who feel like they've been scolded for being a traditionally masculine, because that's kind of a part of this too, is it feeds into kind of a victim complex of the problem is you, it's not me. It's not that my masculinity is destructive. It's not that my binary reductive form of femininity is destructive. It's that you are judging me, and you are depriving me of the right to exercise this pure form of gender expression, which is absurd. The left is incredibly generous in terms of people being able to express gender. The problem is when, you know, it's kind of a libertarian thing and a left libertarian thing, not like an Ayn Rand type bullshit libertarian thing, but it is a libertarian idea and you know, libertarian socialist in a social sense. That once your expression of gender ends up compromising other people's quality of life, that's when you have to check it. And the problem with these trad wives and these proud boys is not that they're traditionally feminine or traditionally masculine. The problem is that they demand that you endorse their binary, reductive, destructive version of these gender expressions. It's not good enough that the proud boy dresses himself and codes himself very masculine. It's not good enough that the trad wife codes herself in kind of this very reductive feminine image. She needs you to endorse. They need you to celebrate them, to bow down and pray at them as totems of essential gender norms. That's the ideology here. The ideology is there are essential gender norms, and they're in the fucking DNA. This is, you know, if race realism is one facet of this ideology, then the next facet down is this gender essentialism, this so-called gender realism, the language she uses, what makes us girls. This is like turfy sounding chromosomal social engineering that's playing out here. That this is an attempt to tell people, and again, it's to the reactionary egotist. This is very comforting. This idea that there are essentials, that there are degenerates, that there are groups that are naturally degenerate, there are groups that are naturally virtuous, there are existing essential gender roles. These things comfort the reactionary mind. It gives them a sense of purpose, and most of all, it gives them this kind of divine right, like the way I'm doing it is ordained, the way you're doing it is wrong. So whether it comes to gender or race or ethnic, cultural expression, it's always going to come down to, no, I'm the default, this is the way things are supposed to be, you will bend to accommodate me. Brittany Pettibone doesn't just want to express her femininity how she wants, how she feels. She wants it to come at your expense. She wants it. She's talked about reestablishing a shaming culture for women in other videos. It's been almost a year since I commented on one of her earlier videos. I'm going to try to see if I can find a link. But she talked about reestablishing a culture of shame where women would shame other women. This is like sort of slut shaming, you know? So it's not just that, oh, you know, I just want to be left, you know, they use libertarian language, you know, I just want to be left to live as the trad wife. I just want to be left to live as the proud boy. But no, they want even more than that. They want you to bend the knee. They want you to kiss the ring. And they want you to accept that your expressions of masculinity, your expressions of femininity, and so on, your general gender expression are secondary. They are less than, and they are a deformity and a degeneration of these profound, essential, classical norms that the human totems represent.